and welcome. You're watching Breaking News. I'm Rishika Barua. The Bombay High Court has come down heavily on the Maharashtra government. This over the recent arrests that have in fact been made regarding social media posts that have been put up. There are currently people languishing in jail for over a month. Why? Because they posted against a said politician. Let me just take you through some of those cases, and these are just the most recent cases that have in fact come to light. There are several such ongoing cases across courts in the country right now. The question we're asking is, should we really be jailing people for social media posts? Is this legal? Is it justified? All of that and more is what we will in fact be focusing on. So let's first take a look at the kind of case history. Most recently, Maharashtra actor Ketaki Chitale has been arrested for a post against Sharad Pawar. She was jailed for over a month under the Atrocities Act. She was granted bail today by a Thane court, but she hasn't yet walked out of jail because there are several other cases against her. Let's take a look at the other big case in Maharashtra. 21-year-old farmer student has been arrested. He's been in jail for over a month again because he put up a post against Sharad Pawar. In West Bengal, a college student was arrested on the 11th of June for allegedly putting out a post on social media that led to violence in the Murshidabad district in West Bengal. Her own home was stone-pelted after that post that she put out. She also continues to be behind bars. Now, in Uttar Pradesh, a 19-year-old has been arrested. Why? Because he put out a WhatsApp status against Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and the Uttar Pradesh police. Nobody filed a complaint against him for this WhatsApp status. The Uttar Pradesh police has taken suo motu cognizance of this WhatsApp status that they thought was offensive to the Chief Minister, and they've arrested him. Again, he continues to be behind bars. A YouTuber by the name of Anirban Roy was arrested in Goa on the 7th of June. Why? Because he also posted something which was apparently abusive and against Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and her nephew Abhishek Banerjee. So the West Bengal police flew to Goa. They arrested him on the 7th of June. He's in West Bengal right now and continues to be behind bars. And like I said, there's a laundry list of cases. Earlier this year, there was another man who was arrested from Jammu and Kashmir for posting something against the Prime Minister. The case history really in this is endless. So the question now is, what is the law? Are these arrests that are being made, are they legal? So Section 66A of the IT Act, which was the section to regulate social media law, was essentially struck down by the Supreme Court back in 2015. Now, why did the Supreme Court strike down this section? The section was struck down because this is a particular section that the Supreme Court felt was unconstitutional, and the Supreme Court, while upholding the right to free speech, struck this section down. Alright, the IPC sections now apply to posts. So if you post something which insults a particular religion, promotes enmity, public mischief, insults a woman, criminal intimidation, defamation, etc., for all of these reasons, you could have certain sections of the IPC put against you. But just this month, the government of India has sought a return of this draconian Section 66A. Why? Because the government in fact has included this section with the exact same wording in its proposal to the United Nations. This is what has happened this year. So, do social media posts, firstly, what are we to make of Section 66A making a return as far as this government is concerned? Something that was struck down in 2015 makes a return in June 2022 when India calls for the criminalization of sharing grossly offensive messages as a part of the UN Cybercrime Treaty. The question we're asking is, do social media posts, however offensive they may be, do they warrant these kind of prolonged arrests? Can you and should you be throwing people behind bars for months for posting something on social media? We're not justifying what these people have said. We're only asking if these arrests are indeed legal and if they are justified. Joining us on NDTV, we have Asif Bhamla, spokesperson of the BJP, NS Napinai, she's an advocate of the Supreme Court and founder of the Cyber Sathi Foundation. We have Yogesh Deshpande, he's Ketaki Chitale's lawyer. Ketaki Chitale is the individual who is behind bars for over a month for posting something against Sharad Pawar. She's an Marathi actor who's been behind bars for a month now. Dr. Shantanu Sen, Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament from the Trinamool Congress, is also with us. And we have Brijmohan Srivastav, spokesperson of the NCP. Thank you all very much for being with us. You know, I want to begin, Yogesh Deshpande, by asking you, you're fighting Ketaki Chitale's case. She's been behind bars now for over a month. She posted something against Sharad Pawar. Today, a Thane court has granted her bail, but she continues to be behind jail because there are several other cases against her.
Yes, she got bail in that atrocity case, but still 22 FIRs are pending, and she got arrested in one case, one FIR. And in 22 other cases are FIRs are pending, and we have approached to the High Court for the quashing of the same.
Okay. And, you know, explain to us, Yogesh Deshpande, what are the provisions? Because there was an IT Act, there was a provision of the IT Act which was struck down in 2015. That was a specific provision that dealt with social media posts. So, under what sections are people now being thrown behind bars and being kept there for such a prolonged period of time?
Yes, in Ketaki Chitale's case, we can see they imposed the sections 501, that is of defamation sections, and 153A. 153A is for spreading religious hate. Now we can see that is in that poem which you have forwarded. Somebody else wrote that poem.
Right.
She just forwarded.
Okay.
And that how can we can say that Pawar is the religion? So religious sentiment get hurt. Pawar is no religion.
You know, that's very interesting. NS Napinai, do you want to come in here? And, you know, of course, Ketaki Chitale is the most recent case that we're looking at. I mean, she's been behind bars for over a month. And like her lawyer is explaining, it was not even a poem that she penned down. It was actually something that she just forwarded, that she just shared. It's actually written by somebody else. But there are several such cases. I mean, a 19-year-old boy, for instance, in Uttar Pradesh, has been arrested and put behind bars. The UP police has taken suo motu cognizance of a WhatsApp status that he put out. Nobody's even complained against him.
Rishika, you mentioned that we are going back to 2015. I wanted to come in to say that we are not going back. We are continuing and perpetuating the same situation as the prevailed before 66A was struck down. So what the crux of the issue is, and I would want to, I mean, cliched as it may sound, I want to again say, you know, we always say you can't put the genie back in the bottle. And that's the problem we are facing now with this kind of misuse of some provision or the other. 66A by itself could have been saved for the right causes, which is to combat cyberbullying or cyber stalking, but it was misused and therefore resulted in a strike down. And if you think we are jumping down to 2022, we are not. 66A continued to be applied even after it was struck down by the Supreme Court. PUCL then had to move a writ petition before the Supreme Court in 2018 against the misuse of 66A. And yet, despite the Supreme Court's direction again in 2018, it continued to be misused. There were reports of it being applied even as recently as 2020 and later. So when you talk about what is really happening today, this is the crux of the issue, and we have to cut through to the real problem here. 499 and 500 IPC deal with defamation. These are non-cognizable offences, and in simple terms, what it means is you cannot have a police complaint registered for defamation. Any person who believes that their reputation is harmed has to file what is called as a private complaint, and they can pursue their remedies before a magistrate's court. You can neither have a police complaint registered, nor can you have arrests of people. What 66A did was it turned it on its head, and people started talking about as if something called as cyber defamation existed, which stood on a different footing than defamation, and that people could be jailed for what they're posting online. There is no such thing as cyber defamation. No one should be rather hauled up for police cases or arrests for defamation, be it in the cyber domain or in print or in any form. All that it can amount to is a non-cognizable offense.
Okay.
Now,
What is it then?
The difficulty here is what people do is that, I just don't want to, I wanted to close out so that I don't leave it with the wrong impression. If you commit an offense online like cyberbullying or stalking, etc., and if it's really hate speech and if it's applied, that's a different issue. But today the problem is that you have already put politicians into this habit of misusing a provision for their personal gains. It doesn't matter which party, it doesn't matter which state or center or whatever. That has to stop. They all have to understand that the law is not meant to be abused. It is only meant to be used. If they have a difficulty with somebody's post, it is open to them to move for civil remedies or for this non-cognizable offense, which
but
is...
But why throw people behind jail? That's the question.
Exactly. That
for
is
a long
not
period
correct
of
way to go
jail.
about it. That's the way to go about it.
Brijmohan Srivastav, please answer this question. There is an actor and a 21-year-old student behind bars in Maharashtra today for over a month because they posted something against Mr. Sharad Pawar. For over a month.
I want to clear one thing very loud and clear. Either now Sharad Pawar ji, neither the NCP leaders, they do not know who is the Chitale before the posting of that tweet in the Facebook. And even we were not knowing regarding the Saurabh ji, who also posted something in the Facebook and the Twitter account. What happened? These people are not a child. How these people can be used by some other person? What Madam Chitale is saying that I have not written this poem, but somebody has used my Facebook account. She's 29 years old lady. She's a film star, and she's moving in a public life. And if she is saying this thing, so it is now up to the in the hands of law whether they are agree or not. It's correct. The people who love respected Sharad Pawar ji, they gone to the police station, they filed the complaints against her and that boy. And
but don't you think that the Maharashtra police, for instance, has more work to do? I mean, look at the law and order situation in the country today. If you're going to start, look at what the Bombay High Court has said. Are you going to take cognizance of every offensive post? People are so easily offended and people post against whoever they like on social media. It's the nature of the platform.
I totally agree with you. But the question is not this. The question is this, that when she is having no relation with the Adani Sharad Pawar ji, that boy doesn't know Sharad Pawar ji. And if those people are abusing and they are misusing that platform, which is a social platform, so many people are watching.
But does it warrant? Okay, you file a defamation case against somebody. Like NS Napinai just explained, if you are really offended by what somebody has written or shared, you file a defamation case. But does it justify throwing somebody behind bars for a month?
Neither the Sharad Pawar ji, neither the NCP worker has complained. We have not complained anything against those people.
Sorry.
Public has taken this decision, and everything is going as per the law.
Sorry, you are misleading. Listen, you are misleading because every complainant is office bearer of NCP.
I am telling the leaders of the leader of NCP and the Sharad Pawar ji. They doesn't know.
Yes,
and we have not asked any person.
Yes,
we have not asked any person to make complaint against her.
I'll name.
They may be a worker, na?
Aditi Nalaude went there at Kalamboli police station, and in the police custody, she went with a group of NCP workers, and she beaten her, she molested her, she thrown ink on her face.
No, I disagree.
Yes, sir. We have made
You are saying this thing. I totally disagree with you. Sorry.
Yes, you
No, no.
can. You
No,
may be. You can.
Why
but
then?
there
Why you
are
have not?
proofs.
Why
We
you have
have-
not
we
filed
have
this? Why you are an advocate
Sorry,
of her now?
we have-
Why
we
you
have filed-
why you
we
have
have
not filed
filed
this
complaint.
in the
Yes,
why
we
you
have
have not
filed
made the
complaint.
why you have not complained?
Yes, we have filed complaint.
Eh?
You know,
I'll-
like I said,
I'll-
like
I'll
I said,
give you
whatever,
that copy also
whatever be the
available.
nitty-gritties, the
please
point
do
of the
not
matter
tell
is very
anything
simple, which is the
without
fact
proof.
that an actor has been
Yes,
jailed
I
for
have
over a
proof,
month.
and we already made complaint,
Okay.
and police is not
But we are
registering
having no
my
personal
FIR,
agenda with
and
her.
that's why
We
we
are-
have approached to the
It
we
is the
have
law which
approached
is
to the
taking
CBI.
place.
Okay,
No,
let's.
sir,
And
there is no law and
we are
order
not
taking
against that
place.
lady, and we are not
Sir,
against
22
Mr.
FIR
Sora.
against
Okay,
the
you both made your points.
single cause
Asif
of
Bhamla,
action,
you wanted to come in.
22 FIRs are not maintainable, sir.
Can I come in, please?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
then
you wanted
it
to
is
come in.
good.
Okay, you
Can I
both
come
made your
in?
points. You have to let other people speak. Asif
Court
Bhamla.
will give the order. We are
Can
having
I
no
please
issue.
come in?
Yes,
If you
court
could
are
tell
going to give the
Why?
order. Also,
Okay.
also DGP,
Yeah.
DGP
Mr.
summoned by
Can you please
the
do a-
Mr.
Can you
Deshpande,
please
Mr.
know the
Srivastava, you
traders?
both put your point forth. You both put your point forth. Let Asif Bhamla come in.
See, nowadays the best way to strike into headline is, you see, and to get popularity is, to criticize people, and you catch the imagination of the people via this way. Now it's become a medium. Now whether you say it, just day before yesterday we saw with the incident that happened with the honorable Prime Minister, a leader from the Congress happened to come up with certain derogatory comments against the Prime Minister, who's yet even not expelled.
No, but
So
Asif Bhamla, we are not
so
talking. No, we are
similarly-
talking very specifically
Similarly,
about
if you
social
see-
media posts. All of those comments are condemnable. My question, therefore, is very simple. However derogatory, abusive
No,
post,
let me
a social
complete.
media post is.
Rishika,
I mean,
let me-
look at this.
Rishika.
You're arresting 19-year-old, 21-year-old
Rishika,
students
let me
for
let
expressing
me
their
let me
political
let me
opinion.
submit. Let me
They have
For
to see the
sharing
motive
their
of these
political
people.
opinion.
Let me submit. I have
19-year-old in
completed
Uttar
my
Pradesh
statement.
arrested for WhatsApp status.
Let me submit, Rishika. The only issue is that be it Sharad Pawar ji, be it Yogi Adityanath ji, or be it the Prime Minister, all these are tall leaders who we certainly respect, be it Mamata Banerjee ji. Any statement against them, irrespective across party lines, is not and should not be tolerated. That is for sure. But what I'm saying
But
is,
what happens to
certainly-
free speech? You may
certainly,
disagree with
certainly,
your leader, you may
certainly,
criticize your
certainly.
leader,
Now,
you may not like
Ketaki
something
Chitale,
they said.
now Ketaki Chitale का तो career ही पूरा ruin हो गया. आज के बाद now she's just a 29-year-old girl, and there are 20 cases slapped on her on the stage. Where does she go from here?
Yes.
So this is certainly I'm not favoring what she's done is certainly wrong. But at the same time, is she legitimate?
But answer this question, Asif Bhamla. No, answer this question. And I want to put out that graphic because I do want to say that, while of course Ketaki is in the news right now, she continues to be behind bars, as does Nikhil Bhamle. There are dozens of other cases from other states, from Gujarat, from Rajasthan, from Jammu and Kashmir, from Uttar Pradesh. So dozens of cases. As far as political parties are concerned, they can all be painted with the same brush when it comes to, taking offense so easily. I mean, why are we so easily offended? Dr. Shantanu Sen, you have a young student in West Bengal who was jailed because she tweeted to say that anybody, who's protesting against Nupur Sharma should essentially go off to an Islamic country. And that created, this huge furor. She's behind bars. There's a YouTuber who you arrested all the way. The West Bengal police went to Goa, arrested him because of some post that offended Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee. Why are Netas so easily offended?
I will answer your question in two folds. Number one, so for the first question is concerned, my answer is, before asking this question, you all should ask together our Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, why Nupur Sharma has not yet been arrested till now.
She has been
And
suspended.
my answer, don't
Immediately.
interrupt in between. Please, don't interfere in between.
She has been suspended.
my-
And the Congress
my
leader
second-
who
my-
said against Mr. Modi
Don't
yesterday,
encroach upon.
the language that he used was unparliamentary.
Try to
Okay,
show
we're
your
not
patience.
talking about
in
Nupur
open.
Sharma.
Try to show
I am
your
asking
patience.
you, Dr. Sen. I'm asking you,
Try
Dr.
to show
Sen,
your
about a
patience.
YouTuber and a college
my
student.
BJP person,
The most
my BJP
recent cases in
spokesperson,
June.
Please try to show your patience. I was absolutely a patient listener when you were talking.
Okay.
You should
Let Dr.
reciprocate
Sen
accordingly.
respond, please. Dr. Sen.
And my second question, my second answer to your second question is, I will withdraw and I will accept whatever you say. With all humility, I submit. Provided you can display the video which was posted by Roddur Rai, L.I. Anirban Rai before your family. I repeat, I will accept whatever you say, provided you can play the same video you are talking about before your family. Our constitution has given us the right to speak freely, but our constitution has not given us the right to use abusive language, unparliamentary language, and filthy language.
What about the student?
Like Mr.
What about that
Roddur Rai
student?
used
What about the
against the
student?
political personalities. So far the student is concerned, yes, students have been arrested. Her bail was rejected because court has felt that if bail is given, this might send some wrong messages
But
to the
NS
society.
Napinai, that's the problem, isn't it?
Nupur Sharma
once again, that's the part of the problem, Dr.
Together, why
Sen.
Nupur
Dr.
Sharma
Sen,
has not yet been
NS
arrested?
Napinai, please explain to
All
us,
that
why is
together,
it that
why
jail,
Nupur
not
Sharma has
bail
not
is
yet
the
been
norm in these
arrested?
cases? Jail, not bail is the norm in these cases.
No,
All these
Nupur
people have done, and
Sharma
I'm not
suspended.
taking away. Dr. Sen, I'm not taking away.
Our
Asif Bhavna,
humanity.
I'm not taking away the fact that some of these posts may genuinely be offensive, they may be abusive, they may be derogatory. Be that as it may. Can it justify throwing 19-year-olds, 21-year-olds behind bars for months? NS Napinai, why is jail the norm and not bail?
Definitely, police
The
and administration
concept,
has
Rishika,
they have
that
found
bail
something
is
wrong.
the norm.
That's why
Dr.
they have
Sen,
taken
Dr.
this
Sen,
step.
let Ms. Napinai respond.
Rishika
The
ji,
construct that bail is the norm and jail is the aberration is not necessarily only for certain kinds of cases. It very well applies to these also. I have heard everybody, and the one issue that you have raised and which I have raised, which is not really addressed here, is this. One, initiate action initiated as per due process of law. You have your remedies, take those remedies in the right way. It cannot be by through misuse of provisions. That's the crux of the question that's been put forth. It's not about use of provisions, but about misuse. Where for the right cause, the right section is applied, the law is with you.
Yes.
But where it is being misused, then the law definitely is not with you. And that's where the courts are constrained to intervene every single time to set right or wrong. Today, we have to go back. We have to set the clock back to the situation where we are not going to assume that this chilling effect is going to prevail, where people are now being threatened that if you open your mouth on social media, if you say something that I don't like to hear, then you run the risk of being put behind bars. That cannot be the case in a democracy.
Certain
We all
political
watch
parties
TV,
encourage.
we all watch a lot of comedy shows also from across the world where they are able to speak freely, even in satire or seriously.
Okay.
Yes.
Nobody puts them behind bars because they said something. That cannot become the norm. And I truly hope that every single person who is speaking here, forget about the rest, every single person who's speaking here, including me, has to understand that misuse of the
I have to say for once, both the lawyers are on the same side and all the three politicians on the show are on the same side. So
imagine
this is a
if
lot
the-
to
imagine
we
if
have.
a case is filed against
This is a lot
anyone
we have.
on social media and they are put behind bars for
completely out of
social
time.
media
I'm
posts.
afraid I'm completely
Would
out
they
of time on
still
breaking
say
this.
the same thing?
Okay, I'm
Would they
afraid.
still say the same thing if they are facing an FIR for a post by them on social media?
This clearly warrants a longer conversation, one that we'll continue to have. Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm afraid I'm completely out of time.